Emma looked at her mother lying on the ground, motionless, while the world seemed to stop around her. She knew she had to do something. As the anguish suffocated her, Emma made a decision that would change the course of that terrible day. I invite you to subscribe to the channel so as not to miss our next publications. But now, enjoy. Emma was a little girl of only 3 years old, lively and full of curiosity. She lived with her parents in a pretty house on the outskirts of Perugia, a quiet place where every day seemed to flow peacefully. Her life revolved around 2 people, her mother Claudia and her father Nicola. Claudia, a sweet and attentive woman, was always busy taking care of the house and raising Emma with love and dedication. Nicola, on the other hand, was a man of few words, but with a big heart. His job as a firefighter often kept him away from home, but when he was there, he always tried to spend as much time as possible with his family. Nicola was a hero to little Emma. She loved listening to the stories he told her in the evenings, stories of courage and impossible rescues, which made her feel proud to have such a special dad. It was a sunny Sunday, and the air was filled with excitement. That morning, Nicola's battalion had organized a special day for the children of the community, a unique opportunity for them to explore fire trucks, wear uniforms, and participate in rescue simulations. Claudia had carefully prepared everything she needed. She had chosen a lovely dress for Emma, and with a smile, she had held her hand as they headed to the fire station. Nicola was there waiting for them with his reassuring smile. For Emma, that was a magical day. Getting into the red truck, activating the sirens, and seeing her father in action were experiences that would fill her heart with joy and pride. After the visit, Nicola returned to work, while Claudia and Emma headed home. What seemed to be a perfect day, however, was about to take a dramatic turn. Claudia had been concerned for some time about the lack of privacy in their new home. The living room curtains had not yet been put up, and anyone passing by on the street could see inside. She had asked Nicola to take care of it several times, but work commitments had always forced him to put it off. That morning, after returning home, Claudia decided she couldn't wait any longer. Nicola had gone fishing with his colleagues and wouldn't be back until the evening. Determined to solve the problem on her own, Claudia took a ladder and a drill, ready to finally put up those curtains. Emma was in the kitchen, quietly drawing, while Claudia headed to the living room with all the necessary supplies. The ladder was old, and Claudia knew it, but she was too determined to let it discourage her. She climbed carefully, marking the spots where she would drill holes. Everything seemed to be going well, until suddenly one of the steps gave way. Claudia lost her balance and fell, hitting her head violently against the coffee table in the center of the room. The blow was so strong that she immediately lost consciousness. Time seemed to have stopped. Emma, hearing the noise, ran into the living room and found her mother lying on the floor, motionless. With the simplicity of a child, she thought that Claudia was sleeping, perhaps tired from the day's hard work. She returned to the kitchen, trying to distract herself with her drawings, but the thought of her mother did not leave her in peace. As time passed, Emma began to worry. Lunchtime was approaching, and she was starting to feel hungry. She decided to go back to the living room to wake her mother, but Claudia was still there, not moving. Emma shook her mother, called her several times, but got no answer. Despair began to creep into the little girl's heart, who didn't know what to do. She remembered the lessons she had learned from the firefighters during their visit that morning. Nicola had always told her how important it was to know what to do in an emergency, and those words came back to her with surprising clarity. Emma took her mother's cell phone, which had remained in her pants pocket, and with trembling hands, she managed to unlock it. Despite her young age, she had managed to memorize the emergency number, and with surprising calm, she dialed it. "Hello, it's Emma. You need to come here to my house. My mother is sleeping all day," she said in a shaky but determined voice. The operator on the other end of the line, struck by the lucidity of that little girl, began to ask her questions to better understand the situation. Emma answered everything precisely, remembering to give their address as she had been taught. Within minutes, a patrol arrived at their door. The police immediately assessed the situation and called for an ambulance. Claudia was rushed to the hospital, while Emma was accompanied by a social worker who tried to calm and comfort her. Only that evening, Nicola, returning from fishing, discovered what had happened through the numerous missed calls on his cell phone. His heart tightened in fear as he rushed to the hospital. When he got there, he saw his daughter in the arms of the social worker. "It's thanks to this little heroine that your wife is still alive," the woman said with a tender smile, pointing to Emma. Nicola took his daughter in his arms, holding her tightly as tears flowed freely. It was a moment of immense relief and gratitude. In the days that followed, the family's life was suspended in waiting. Claudia was still unconscious, and each passing day was a mix of hope and fear. Finally, when Claudia woke up, the sequelae were mild and the worst seemed to be over. The family was reunited again, and Nicola, with a heart full of gratitude, finally put up those tents that had caused so much suffering. Emma's story and her courage did not go unnoticed. Local newspapers reported the incident, celebrating the readiness of that 3-year-old girl who, with determination and cold blood, had saved her mother's life. The community was deeply touched, and schools began to talk about emergencies to teach children what to do in critical situations.